because I needed the most amount of help at that point in my life, and the Marine Corps seemed to be offering the most amount of kick ass, and I needed a lot of it to get my life straight again.
And I had no idea there was a connection until I was watching a Army Navy game, and then I saw this guy, he's going in the Marine Corps, this guy is going in the, I was like, oh, now that works. And I told that on an episode once, an older guy, and that was the one episode that we did at night, and he was drinking a beer and he split it everywhere because he couldn't believe that I was that naive.
Unfortunately, I'll keep it pretty light, but yeah, unfortunately we all did. And we've got a bunch of guys that aren't here today because of it. Yeah.
Because my dad died, like I said, hairy cell leukemia from Agent Orange.
Out of 30 of them, 5 have had, direct cancers, and 4 of them passed because of those.
Wow. I have sinusitis at 50%, which is max, unless I were, and then my guy would help me. It's Camp Pendleton. And first of all, it's dry as hell, plus the dirt, plus everything you're in. Plus we constantly was down there for the tear gas. And, it was brutal at the time because different than it is now.
It wasn't, the one thing that the military does, and especially the really serious parts of it, they teach you how to do something and how to be in a unit. And they spend so much time teaching you and getting your brain rewired to function in that environment. And then when they let you go, especially in the 80s, there is nothing to deprogram you. They just literally take that specialty tool and drop them back into the workbench with nothing. And so that was part of the problem for me that I only learned recently, because I thought I was fine. And then I did a little deep dive with some other veterans that were more clinical and worked through the process. I realized, oh God, no, I was actually a mess. I was doing terrible, actually. I'm surprised I even survived post-military. It's a vein of service, I think, is the most important thing, is we lose that. And we don't even know that we're suffering from the loss of that, because you go in at 18, you get out at 22. If you're doing just 4 years straight, you don't know what's going on at 22. I mean, I can't believe I was that young getting out of the Marine Corps and getting put back on the block. And yeah, we were all spun up to do just, amphibious landing, very, very aggressive. But you needed somebody to be specially trained in amphibious assault, like what they learned in D-Day, taking out hard encasements, taking out concertina wire, taking out machine gun, heavy, weapons. We got extra training, extra stuff. And they put us on the little anti-craft at Iwo Jima, and we were supposed to just go in and smoke everything that was there. And that's all we trained for every time. Thank God we never had to. Ronald Reagan kept us safe. And that's what it is, for guys like me, and people that really don't think that they should be having any problems. Right. Sometimes that's the sleeper,
And what I've found talking to people is you don't deal with it until you're in your late 40s, early 50s. And it happened to me because I've been in the mortgage industry for 25 years. The last 5 years were horrible when it comes to, I had a lot of time on my hands. So that's why I do so many different things. Well, I didn't, and that's when it all popped up, and I was going through, and they're like, it happens all the time. Your kids are gone, just you and your wife, and you have all this extra time to think about things. And then so I was so used to being a workaholic, exerciseholic, never,
bury it.
And you deal with kids and this, and they're in these groups and that groups. And you don't have any time to think about anything. And then, and I had no idea I had PTSD, and the Ranger's like, dude, you have PTSD. I go, no, I don't. He goes, you can recall vivid memories of everything that you did, that in some major things that I saw, because I was medical. And so we pulled duty as like a paramedics at night as duty. Also, I worked in the hydrotherapy, which was with burn patients and wound care and a bunch of stuff. And I took care of a Marine who was run over by a guy on PCP, and he was riding his motorcycle. He got drug underneath the car for 1.5 miles, and I had to debride his butt and stuff because it was horrible. Oh no, it was bad, dude. After days and 2 days of it, I couldn't take it anymore. And I still know his name and see his face and everything to this. And I'm like, that's just a good memory. They're like, dude, that's PTSD.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yeah, you don't have PTSD.
And that's why, and the reason I keep bringing this up, if anybody's watching this stuff, so one person will go, oh, I need to go see something. And